Yo, 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 welcome to Crate 808, and today we have a very special guest on board. It's the man who's no longer human status, he's supreme being on a whole different site. You can't see what he's seeing, and if you think his shit is a joke, he don't do well with a parodist, he'll go clap them all and then go talk about it with his therapist. They ask him what he's smoking on because his shit is reeking, and no, he didn't shoot the sheriff, but he did pop the deacon. His shit too hard to... Bro, it's all you. His shit too hard to calibrate. This man can't help be thuggish, but through the thuggish, he educate. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the thuggish mutineer himself. Memphis rapper Luka is in the hot seat. How are you doing, my man?
Yo, I'm good, brother. Listen, man. Yo, that introduction was and is insane, man. So thank you. I'm glad to be on. Yo, you quoted a lot of bars I hadn't even thought about in a long time, like that deacon. Yeah, I forgot I said that.
It still rings hard. It still rings hard, man. Like, all I'm saying is, for people who don't know, this has been in the works for a minute. I've been trying to get you on. I loved your output last year, and I'm just so excited, man, to hear you like making music. And I thought, we got to get you on. It's a 90s hip-hop podcast as well as just a hip-hop podcast. So today you picked an album to talk about as well, and it's Nasir's classic second album, 1996's It Was Written. So we're going to dig in, but Luka, it's your first time on. I got to ask you, ask everyone who steps in, what is the least hip-hop thing you've done in the last 24 hours, my man?
Man, I guess watch the playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah. I was watching the Grizzlies last night. Put in work. Gonna watch KD after this, man. You know what I mean? So,
okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of something more crazy, but I mean, shit. I cooked for the family. That's not. I mean, in a way, that's hip hop, though.
That is hip hop.
I mean, taking care of the family. You know what I'm saying?
Raekwon the chef doing it up.
Listen, everything is hip hop. So it's like, when you're hip hop, everything is hip hop. You wake up, you breathe hip hop, you sleep hip hop. When you read a book that has nothing to do with hip hop, it's still about hip hop because you're educating yourself. And that's what hip hop is, man. You learn from it. You know what I'm saying? So everything is hip hop. Bro. Basketball is now hip hop. Shout out to Allen Iverson for bringing that to the league.
Exactly. AI. That's what I'm talking about. Bro, you have made that statement, and now we know what we're going into. Yo. Quick reminder, if you're enjoying the show, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so you'll be kept up to date with all that we're doing. And also, man, get involved in the YouTube comments. Man, we love hearing from you fellow hip-hop heads. We love nerding out. So bring those takes and just bring that flavour, man, and we might even shout you out on the show. So yes, appreciate all the support. Now, back to the episode. This is exactly what we're about, man. Everything is. And this is the beauty of having an artist now who, you're a newer artist. We talk a lot to older heads, like, so we have some goats on, but what I love to hear is the love for this kind of golden era from newer voices. So you being on right now, I need to ask you first off the bat, what is it about It Was Written that made you go, actually, I have a moment now to talk about an album. That's the album I want to talk about.
Man, Nas is my favorite rapper, man. And that's my favorite album by him. It was a good follow-up to Illmatic. It was the perfect follow-up to Illmatic. It showed his growth and where his writing ability just got sharper. A lot of people say it was sharp on Illmatic, and no doubt it was sharp. It was one of the sharpest, if not the sharpest, back then. But something about It Was Written, it was just like, all right, now he's like done status. You know what I'm saying? He kind of finding a way to take Illmatic and elevate it on some flyer mafioso shit. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. It was between that and the two other albums, man, because like Scarface is my second favorite rapper. So I just end up going with the first favorite rapper and my favorite album by him. So
I feel you because It Was Written. You're right. It is a different beast compared to Illmatic. Illmatic is some of the most quotable shit, but man, you listen to It Was Written, right? And I've listened back to it even today. Like, I've lived with this album for 20 odd years, like 30 almost years. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you think like, damn, I don't know if there's many more like, you could write this in stone as one of the best lyrical displays in hip hop generally. And he's following up Illmatic, which is already one. And yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, man, that album from top to bottom, just like Illmatic. So during this conversation, I'm gonna always go back to Illmatic because Illmatic is the foundation. You know what I mean? It's a perfect foundation. But It Was Written, to me, man, it was just like on Illmatic, he was telling New York stories like from the project window. You know what I mean? On It Was Written, I felt like he was actually off the porch in the streets maneuvering it himself. Yeah. You know what I mean? So really like giving serious experiences that he might have, you know what I mean, went through. Even though he was doing that on Illmatic, it was still through the project window. He was basically like just manipulating the characters and everything he saw. But on the second album, it's like, he was like, man, I'm here. I'm in this. Like, what I was talking about on Illmatic, this is what I went through going through all of that.
Yeah. So, I love that. The outsider perspective, them playing the main guy in the actual like character. Raymond Ridge, I need to talk to you about your testicles and in particular the hair on your testicles because yes, support for Crate 808 is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming. Their products are precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Yes, have a listen to that.
Have a listen. This shaver really does run at the speed of light.
There we go. For the exhibit heads out there you go. It does run at the speed of light. It is. If you look on the camera, it's even got a little light for you there, mate. It's razor smooth. It's razor smooth, I would say. And this is what I'm talking to you about today. Ray, where do you stand on ball grooming, my friend?
It makes me nervous. It makes me nervous a little bit.
It does.
I didn't know I needed it until I had it. And that really is the sound of electric relaxation.
Stop. Well, I actually was going to say to you, is it hip hop to have clean balls? And Manscaped are great for this. They even send you like stuff to put on top after you've like shaved the balls, almost like aftershave for the balls, or so you have scented scrotums. Scented scrotums is the best title for a Cool Keith song that hasn't been released yet. Just like a hip hop backpacker uniform, you've got Timberlands, right? You've got Carhartt jackets, you've got fisherman hats, but now I do think we need to put clean shaven balls into the mix. Where are you with that?
No, I agree completely. In my opinion, you got to look after the twins so you can live that glamour life.
That's good. Manscaped's performance package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. We've got an exclusive offer just for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code CRATE808 at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, Ray, that's about 8 million balls. So get 20% off, free shipping, code CRATE808 at manscaped.com, and get involved, man. Get involved.
I heard it's used by Easy Dick in the Jack Off Hour.
Easy Dick in the Jack Off. Keep bringing them. So this is like, I think this is called the Lawnmower 4, Ray, isn't it? So pretty cool. Yeah. I'm enjoying this. But you know what I'm enjoying just as much? And maybe it's me, but my nasal hair and my ear hair can get a bit out of control. And I do tend to get in there and, just trim it up a little bit. And this weed whacker, they also do. This is also quite cool. And I really enjoy this. So yes, you get this. And, as I've said before, it's a gift for any hip hop head who's got hair on his body. So make all your holes look sexier. That's what I say, Ray.
Definitely. And what I'd say as well, if you've got the skills to eat someone's ass like cannabis has, I'd recommend it to you. You could use it on other people as well. You really could.
So yes, people, go out there, manscaped.com, crate808 code, get your 20% off and big yourselves up. Ray, I'm glad you've got clean balls and I'm glad you've got the knowledge now to get those clean balls because hip hop's fifth pillar is knowledge. So thank you, Manscaped, for letting us know that we do all need to go out there and have clean balls.
Thanks to Manscaped. It really does look like OPP.
But the fact that me and you from different worlds could combine over this music, and for me, I hear you like the the kind of genesis of just why I love people like you through this album, because Nas crams so much into he's got triple entendres, he's got rhymes within rhymes, like he can really analyze that shit. And then you also think like he's painting pictures that are like cinema. I know people have said this before, but it is like cinema, man. And man. Absolutely. I was going to ask you this, right? Because I read this, Nas said this about his rhyming, and he was like, yeah, it's amazing to write like that complicated stuff. But but when you actually go to perform, it's a nightmare, because you know it's so hard to perform, and that's why he carried loads of hype men with him to kind of help him like keep it on the thing. What do you think to that? How do you feel? Because you've got quite complicated rhyming too, man.
Yeah. So the hype man is understandable. I mean that's hip hop, having a hype man. So I don't look at Nas different for having a hype man and having somebody punch in where he has to take a breath, man. I mean, the people who come in to see it, they know what they're in for. They know what kind of rapper this is. It might really be physically impossible to spit all of that and not have to take a big breath, man. Trust me, I know, man. So, unfortunately, man, I don't like hype mans. So I just push through it, man. Like I enjoy the fuck ups and the breaths. You know what I mean? Because sometimes even when I take a breath, I might like, okay, I'm tired of rapping this fast. Let me freestyle. The crowd goes crazy. You know what I mean? So like, yeah. So I'm on both sides of the spectrum. A hype man is cool. I started off with a hype man, and it helped. But when you're like, I'm a big guy, so it's just like when I stand on the stage, I demand the presence anyway. So it's kind of like I want to do this on my own. You know what I mean? Stand 10 toes down in the mud out here, because on stage it's the mud, man. You can get booed at any time, man. So
damn,
yeah, man.
Damn.
So, yeah.
You've had that experience.
That's where I'm at with it.
Damn.
Not yet.
Oh,
not yet.
But you're aware of it. But you're aware of it.
Oh,
that's
man.
the thing.
Yeah. My first time in New York doing shows. It wasn't my first time in New York, but it was my first time in New York doing shows. I was talking to the homie Sin, and he was just like, basically just like, man, yeah, man, just do your thing, because people do boo out here. And I was like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm like, all right, cool. That shit's real up here. So, I mean, hey, that's how it was back in the. I accept the boos, man. It means like, yo, I need to do some more work.
Boom.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've been pretty cool with not receiving boos. You know what I'm saying? So
damn, I love that. I love how you make it twist and put it to your advantage, man. That's great. That's like constructive criticism in the form of booing, man. I feel that. Yo. Us here at the Crate 808 podcast have kicked off our Patreon. So if you don't know what Patreon is, it's a platform where you can go and for a small donation, you can help support us make more hip hop content for you. Go on to patreon.com/Crate808 and you can check out all the little payment options you've got there. You can check out the 2 new episodes you'll be getting every month, live chats with us guys, just to rap nerd out with you guys. We're going to go into some wide-ranging episodes, delving into the work of the Wu-Tang Clan, MF Doom, and Jay Dilla. So get it locked if you want that new granular look at hip-hop. So go to our payment tiers on Patreon, big up yourselves. If you choose to support us, thank you so much. I will give you a personalised shout out on the show, and we shall catch you in one of these live rooms, and let's get this community going. So spread the word. Much love for your time, and peace out. Boom. So if we're talking then, like we're saying there about Nas's rhyming ability, this lyrical display on here, what is it? Could you pinpoint then, growing up? I mean, you didn't grow up in New York, and you have a different kind of soundscape, even I suppose, when you grew up around you. What was it about Nas that kind of stuck out in all those other characters that you were listening to when you were young?
I tell this story all the time, and I saw a lot of me in Nas. Like listening to Illmatic, I automatically was like, okay, he's rapping about what he's seeing through his project window. He says it in a lot of the rhymes, you know what I mean? So I could relate to that, because before I decided to, you know what I mean, dive in the waters, I would see things from my porch. You know what I mean? Or from the inside, and hear stories and things of that nature. And it was just, he was the first rapper that I heard that was talking about the things going on in the cesspool, but even though he knew what was going on and he may even played a part in it, but he wanted to be out of it. You know what I mean? And I was always one of those guys like, yeah, I might, you know what I'm saying, dive in this real quick, but this ain't what I want to do for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? So it's all about elevating. And I got that from Nas's lyrics. And you know what I mean? He was the first rapper, you know what I'm saying, that I could see everything he's actually saying. Mind you, I could see everything Project Pat and Player Flower saying because I'm from the city. You know what I mean? So that's second nature to me. I already know what's going on in South Memphis. I already know what's going on in North Memphis. You know what I mean? When Nas would rap, even though he was like coming from a New York standpoint, I felt like it was universal. And I could relate to it in a way. You know what I mean? I know he made it. He said, I made it for the streets of New York, man. But the best music to me is when you make it for a specific thing and then it becomes about everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I fell in love with Nas, man.
I feel that, man. That's amazing. As I was saying, with the Nas thing then, like who introduced you to this album? Like you're younger than me, so I'm wondering how you even found it. How did you find this album?
All right, so I call myself being a rapper. I started rapping when I was like 8. Now, mind you, I knew my uncle was a serious dude. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to spitting, he's a product of Nas and Rakim. You know what I'm saying? So one day I decided to rap something to him, and he told me that shit was bubble gum, and it fucked me up. You know what I'm saying? It made me really second guess my shit.
Right.
And so I was that year I went home and I was just like, man, why is my shit bubble gum to him? And so I really started diving into his music more. And I'm like, oh shit, this man's like these cadences, like the way he's wording this shit, right? So he's like, I'm glad you liking it. I went back to Chicago months later. He's like, I'm glad you fuck with the music. Let me show you where this shit come from.
Right.
And we went down a fucking insane, massive abyss. Like treacherous hole, man. Like starting with like Rakim and Cool G and KRS. Like I don't know about none of these people. You know what I mean? Like I know about the mainstream artists. Like, of course, you know about Dr. Dre. They playing Fuck the Police and the Chronic and you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. But you know what I'm saying? Like he took me down. He took me to the origin of the shit, and then it eventually got the Nas. So that's his favorite rapper. So you know what I mean? He took me down the road of where Nas got his shit from first. And I was like, okay, yo, Nas is my favorite rapper. As simple as that, man. I was like, dude, I can relate to this cat, man. He's spitting some shit. He in the way he's so descriptive, man. It's insane. It's almost unfair on how good he is at that shit.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
So yeah, man. That's how I got on him, man. Through my uncle, man.
That's fascinating. So when you hear this album, I'm sure like your love for it has changed over time, right? But like we have a few categories we like to talk about with each album, and there's 5 mic moments on classics. There's a few 5 mic moments, you know, like moments of perfection kind of thing, right? For you on this album, where are those 5 mic moments? Like a song, a verse, an ad lib, or like even just the whole, you know, kind of thing. Where are they for you?
Is it wrong for me to say the whole project?
No,
I love it. You know what I mean?
So there's no skips. It's like all in.
Oh nah, man. I could never like the first. I'm gonna be honest. The first 3 albums of Nas, no, the first 2, then the 4th. You know what I mean? I had to skip 3. I think that's 3.
I Am.
Yeah, but anyway, it's that Nostradamus is 3, right?
No, Nostradamus is 4. It's I Am.
That's 4. I Am.
Yeah,
I Am. So all right, cool. It's I Am, then Nostradamus, then Stillmatic. Okay, cool. All right. So yeah. So the first 3 albums, there are no skips for me, man. You know what I mean? Like, not at all, bro. So but I do have favorite moments. And you know what I mean? Like I could literally put the whole album on right now and let it ride and be cool with how it's riding. But Watch Them Niggas, that's one of my joints. That's my favorite song on the entire album.
Damn. Okay.
I love that joint. Also, I Gave You Power, man. It's one of the craziest songs ever written.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Songs like Shootouts, you know what I mean? Of course, If I Ruled the World. You know what I mean? It's some joints on there. Like, but I Gave You Power and Watch Them are my joints, man.
Okay.
Those are my joints. My bad. Man.
All good. The watch them, right? I remember, what is it he says? I've got a slight twist of lime, Ryan, be chasing down the prime time. This was food for thought, or not, or rather mind wine. My mind blew. I was like, what's mind wine? You know, I want some mind wine. This is crazy. And you're right. I haven't heard that before, you know? And that is just genius. It's just genius. And
my favorite scheme on the entire album, man, is the second verse. The second verse on Watch Them, and like the first, I think it's maybe 4 to 6 bars. And he was like, now how can I perfect this? Living reckless, die for my necklace, crime infected, driving the Lexus with a death wish. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, bro, how is this man rhyming so many times, bro?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's, nah. Yeah, man, nah,
and still making sense, and still like flipping different things. Like, you know, it's easy to rap. That's what I love about your work. Again, is, you know, to rap and make things, but to actually say stuff in each little couplet is such a skill, man. It's the craft. He's been crafting to get there, man. And and I also think that it's quite nice to hear him on this, where like Trap Masters, and I think like. Now I've heard Nas on like East stuff, almost West Coast sounding stuff, mafioso stuff, and I love how he did change that up on this album. You said there about I Gave You Power, like I think that might be the perfect concept track. I don't know. There's a lot of great concept tracks, but
you do have Rewind. You know what I mean? I would put Rewind over I Gave You Power. I Gave You Power would be number 2 for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just had to throw that in there, man. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But, I Gave You Power is not only is it the like dopest concept, it's a beautiful concept. Because you can like the way he's like describing the gun, a person could be in that place where that gun is. You know what I mean? Being used, and you know what I'm saying, and having to go to another owner and things of that nature. And when I heard that song, man, I was like, man, I say it all the time, bro. It's not fair that he's that dope.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like he's almost not even human.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
It's almost like I wish he didn't say, because he explicitly says it's like I'm a gun. It's like I'm a gun. Yeah. And I know I've heard rumors that the producers like were saying you should probably say it in case people, you know, don't get it. But I almost think if they took that bit out, like you'd still get it. And just perfect storytelling, man.
Wow. Man, those people like that, man, like shout out to those people that are in the creative process, man. But if he didn't say it, it was a reason why he didn't say it's a gun. You know what I mean? And I feel like even though that song is gonna like stand the test of time, man, if he didn't say it was a gun, oh my God, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Illmatic is in Harvard, right?
Yeah.
So, yo, I think that song right there could have really been a class.
Yeah.
Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, just describing that entire song, man, it's so many things you can take from it, man. If we were to sit down and literally read all those lyrics, I guarantee you can sub the gun for a real person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's just poetic.
Yeah.
It's super poetic.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And you know the poetry thing you said there, and Nas is that. He is a poet, right? He's a street poet, absolutely. And I think one thing I was listening to again today, and I've heard this track probably thousands of times, like The Message. I heard The Message again, and I was like, yep, the Sting sample, yep, it's got that. I'm straight back where I was when I first heard it. But like, you know, even when he says a class of Zay make a man Cassius Clay, I remember when that clicked as a kid, I was like, yeah, oh my God, like just some of my favorite language. But then I thought, like, you know what it is for me? The Message, that second verse on The Message, I was saying, right, the beauty of the rhyme, the rhythm of the rhyming, like, you know, when you can just hear someone and you don't even listen to what they're saying anymore. And it's just that enjoyment I've get of just like, oh my God, this is perfect. The way he's rhyming this, that showcases Nas as a GOAT. Like, you know, when people talk about, okay, what's your argument for someone being a GOAT? I think right up there is, well, listen to the second verse on The Message and tell me someone who makes you feel that, like, you know, when he's the way he's speaking. And man, and do you know what I love about The Message is people talk about bling rap. People talk about bling rap, and people talk about like Jay-Z, like, you know, talking about diamonds all the time. The Message is pure bling rap and just done so differently to Jay-Z. Like, it still has that poetry. And I think backpackers and, like, you know, people who didn't like bling rap would be like, oh, I love The Message. Like, well, listen to the lyrics, man. Like, he is
man,
going fully into it. But yeah.
The reason why he's like so dope at that, man, just comes, and how I know this is because I come from a musical family, just like he does. And so, like, his dad played jazz and things of that nature. So he's a huge jazz head. So he's dope with how he arranges and speaks his syllables. It almost sounds like a lead trumpet or lead saxophone or Thelonious on the keys. You know what I mean? So, like, it's so mesmerizing, man. And it's like he never lets up. Man. So I feel you, man. I feel you on that joint, man.
Yeah. No, perfectly put. Absolutely. It seeps through, man. The parentage, the heritage. It's even your music. Like, it seeps through, like, where you've come from, and it forms you, right? And I was listening to Affirmative Action as well the other day, and I was just thinking to myself, obviously one of the best posse cuts, but that beat drop, there's not many things. You know, when AZ comes in and he's just like the best opener in hip hop ever. Like, you know, he's like, wow, that guy can open a track, man.
Sit back, relax, catch a contact, sip your cons. Yeah, come on, man. Listen. Hey, AZ, when people speak of lyricism, man, they need to start putting my boy a little higher. If he's not, I mean, like, come on, man. Like, it's a reason why he was on Nas' album and Jay or somebody else wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, that dude's a different animal, man. So, yeah, that's a perfect posse cut. Whenever Nas and him get together, it always puts me in the mood of when I hear Ray and Ghost.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I kind of wish they would have, like, you know what I mean, put out a real project together. You know what I mean? Or did something like Only Built for Cuban Links and Iron Man, where they backed each other up. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, bro.
Oh, I'm so here for that. Because he does. I think there's certain rappers that just grab your attention. And as soon as he says react like a Rottweiler and that beat drops, I'm just in, and it's like, what? And then Foxy comes in with the math, and you're like, I remember as a kid just writing the math down, like, hold on, is this making any sense? I don't know if this making any sense. But you know, you just geek out a little bit, and but yeah, I even heard, like, it's interesting when you hear The Firm, and Cormega's amazing as well. Like, and then you hear like 50 was, I don't know if that was a rumor but like 50 was supposed to be in The Firm, and you were like, that would have made it completely different. And I'm kind of here for it. I don't know what you think.
If 50 was part of The Firm, bro, But you know what? I'm kind of glad he didn't though, because 50, the reason why I think AZ didn't get his just due, and I could be wrong. So whoever's watching this, yo, feel free to hit me up and set me straight. I could be wrong. I feel like he was overpowered by Nas's charisma and quietness, but still a like straight up dog. You know what I'm saying? I think he was like, I think AZ then it was almost like you had to play second to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't think Nas did it intentionally. You know what I'm saying? I don't think AZ knew it would happen like that, but Nas was like that ace in the hole. You know what I'm saying? And I think AZ is like that first. It's just Nas got the, I guess, the opportunity first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Life works like that. Man. Life works like that sometimes, man. Like, it's crazy to think. That's another thing, listening to this album when it first come out, because it was so different to Illmatic in its kind of presentation. And like, actually, I remember Steve Stout saying some of the marketing was crazy. Like, they were handing out notebooks of like, for journos to like write in, as in it was written, and he was like dropping like mixtapes in with them, and I don't know, Steve Stout was on another level. But the thing I love about like when Nas is doing this on this level, it's like the track master, there is no super team of producers. There is no Primo, Pete Rock, Q-Tip, you know, Large Professor. Like, to leave that's quite a brave move. Like, I'm sure he could have kept, right? I don't know what you think, but how do you feel? That's brave, right?
I mean, yeah, and I accept that shit, and I love that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm on the side of that. Like, people could like argue. So people were like, "Yo, how you gonna outdo Win the Black Hand?" And then I come back with a completely different producer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I added kicks and drums to it now instead of just the sample loops. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you're a skilled, poetic MC like Nas, man, your fans are gonna be there for it no matter. You know what I'm saying? He says it in one of his rhymes. He was like, "They don't come to me because of the beats. They come to me for what I say." You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people like, yo, Nas is the way he chooses beats is crazy. I'm like, man, there's something wrong with y'all, man. Like, why you even? You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand you want to feel the beat and all that, but that guy is the lead instrument, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
It's funny. It's a funny thing, because I remember when Mike was dropping, he's dropping tracks on like about fast food with Busta. Throughout his career, he's dropped tracks that are like, you can say all you want about the beats, but this track is unbelievable. And I don't know what do you think to Magic and King's Disease and stuff like that? How are you feeling those tracks, the projects that he's been dropping? So
I enjoyed King's Disease one. I enjoyed it. I was like, okay, he's on to something. You know what I'm saying? This is fresh off Nasir. So like, and I kind of like that album. You know what I mean?
Same here, a little bit. I kind of liked it.
Man, I like that album. It sounded like Nas was really trying to figure out how he was going to maneuver today's game on Nasir.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm one of the guys that enjoys the struggle and the hunger and the artist, because even on that album, you can still hear that Nas is hungry on Nasir. You know what I'm saying? Like, so after Nasir King Disease dropped, I'm like, okay, Hit Boy is pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? Not a huge Hit Boy fan, but he's dope as shit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, okay, all right, bet. So I was just waiting. And then I saw on his Instagram, dropping King's Disease 2. And I saw the cover. And I was like, oh, yeah, this shouldn't be the one. Without even hearing the joints.
Damn.
So, you know what I mean? So when King's Disease 2 dropped, I was like, man, this shit is crazy, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's like mingling with the new cats. You know what I'm saying? I was happy finally him and Eminem did a joint.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then Magic dropped, and then I was just like really like sucked back into the man's world again. You know what I'm saying? Magic is like his like what his I am was then to now. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I feel you.
Yeah. So like, it was a perfect album. The beats, Hit Boy snapped on the beats, every beat.
Yeah.
Man, my favorite joint on there is Woo for the Children.
Oh, yeah.
I love that song, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Goats showing love to other goats as well is just something I'm completely here for. Like this culture,
me too, man.
There's been too much, like, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm sounding a bit old now, but there's a lot of violence and like disconnect and just shit that's hard to hear. Like even forget Pac, Biggie. I'm talking like even like in Tribe. I love Tribe Called Quest, and even hearing how they had their breakups and stuff like that, and like I just sometimes feel like I'm so nice that when the love is being shared, and again I like that now with newer cats doing their thing, the peers like. I will have to talk about you in Cities Aviv at some point, because that for me, that combo right there, there's something about that combo that I think is very special. But like going back to Nas, I was saying like that, and I love that about. Do you think some of those albums could get top 5 for you? Like top 5 favorite Nas albums? Is Magic in there? Is King's Disease in there? KD2?
Okay, so. All right, so there's an album after the like Life is Good is in my top 5. That album is phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? Now that was like it was written Illmatic, but like on some like grown, he's not like in his 20s no more.
Yeah.
He's like in this time frame, and it was like all of that jammed into one. I felt like he was just in a completely different space. He was just getting over that shit with police or whatever, and all of that. So he went in on that album. So I said that to say this. I listen to Magic every other day, man. You know what I mean? It's kind of like what I did to Life is Good. You know what I'm saying? So I think Magic is eventually going to be in that top 5, man, because I love it's like a different. It's not the same complex Nas, but it is complex Nas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nas a little too. I don't want to. I don't know how he feels, but since he doesn't do it like he used to, as far as like the scheming, rhyme schemes, continuously rhymes back to back, cat that. You know what I mean? I guess he's finding a different pocket, but it's still complex at the same time, though, because he'll snap back into that shit real quick, then hop right back out of it. You know what I'm saying?
And how comfortable does he sound doing it? You know, when he's like,
he's super comfortable.
So amazing, like to hear someone so, like swagger. I suppose it's when people saw Jordan play, or like over here in football, we got Messi playing, or if you're watching tennis, it's Roger Federer, whatever it is. But you see someone who's so good at what they do, they can switch it up on a dime, and you're like, okay, and I think there's a lot of that he's got in the new albums that I'm absolutely here for, man.
I love to hear him rap on the joint with him and ASAP, the New Wave joint.
New Wave Gods.
New Wave Gods and Primo on the beat. And like, just how like, that hook that he did, man, that's some up-to-date type hooks. And it still sounded smooth to me. It still sounded like, Nas can get away with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he the GOAT. You know what I mean?
That's it. I love that. I love that. So on the album then, we've talked about like our 5 moments, our favorite moments. I Gave You Power, obviously incredible. And I think another thing I love to do with, especially albums that, front to back, would you say there's any tracks off of here that are more like hidden gems? So like tracks that probably you love, but you think deserve a bit more shine generally. I know you said Shootouts there, right? That's one of mine, because the intro to that, My Neck Is Not Surviving, every time that intro, it's like, oof, go straight in. I love it. But yeah.
But Shootouts was the joint in New York, though, I heard. So he got his just due, I feel.
Okay.
Like, I could be wrong. I could be getting wrong information, but I heard that was a little street joint.
Love that.
But for me, the song that I've heard that people are disappointed with, and really didn't feel, and I'm just like, y'all are insane. Nas is coming.
Okay.
The Dr. Dre joint.
Right. Talk to me.
That's a sleeper, man.
Okay.
That's a sleeper. Yo, I remember how I felt when I heard X is coming by DMX. And I really felt like that nigga might be really coming. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When I heard that for the first time, I was like, oh shit, Nas trying to let it be known, like, yo, I'm this dude. You know what I'm saying? And his schemes, his wordplay on that shit, man. So this is how I know. I was talking to Cities Aviv about this maybe a couple weeks ago. When I really like some shit, I can't remember the whole song. You know what I'm saying? And I found out why, because it's a joint that I'm gonna have to keep going back to because I gotta learn it because it's so complex.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? If I listen to some shit, you know what I'm saying? I can't, you know what I'm saying? There's no disrespect to, he's a GOAT, but I can learn his shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can learn his shit. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Nas, man, like, when it's on, I know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But saying them, it's just like, yo, it's insane, bro. So like, when I'm like that about people's music, like I'm like that about Mos Def, you know what I'm saying? Like Raekwon, you know what I'm saying? I'm like that about a few MCs, man. So, but that Nas is coming, that people need to sit down and read those lyrics because I'm that type of guy.
I want to now. I want to go back now and do that because it's, for me, I think the beat's sick. I'm not a fan of the hook, but I love the other stuff around it. And I don't know, it always sat at I'm not a hater at all. I actually, you know, at the end of the day, it's a track with Dre and Nas. I'm always going to have some affection for it. You know what I mean? And I just found it funny that it is that kind of track that does get a bit of, you're right. It doesn't get the love a lot of people give it, but I don't know, man.
A lot of people say they hate that hook, and I wasn't too fond of the hook until I got a little older and I started like thinking on why the hook existed, because it was Nas allowing himself to be sucked into Dr. Dre's world. You know, Dr. Dre got that damn choir to say Nas is coming.
Yeah,
you know Like, that sounds like some West Coast shit. And during that time, you got the East and the West Coast beef. So when I got older, it made more sense to me. I was like, okay, he was just letting it be known. Like, I fuck with the West Coast. Fuck all that shit. I'll let this man do this whole track and I'll just spit over it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Good point.
I kind of like started to like look at that hook a little different. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. Yeah. No, absolutely. The context is massive as well. And you're right. Like, no, people weren't doing that. In 96, the heat was up. The temperature was up, bro. And it's like, you're absolutely right. And it is very West Coast. And again, like I said earlier, it's just so good to hear Nas doing a bit of, like, hearing him on the West Coast. Like, it's good. And it works well in the album, I suppose, as well. I think, because the album is quite smooth as well compared to Illmatic's like hard, like jaggedy, like you're in, but it's still got smooth moments. But I think like on this, it's just like, I don't know if it's aged better or not, but it's aged well. It's aged really well because of that. You know what I mean? Street Dreams.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Street Dreams is insane. You know what I'm saying? What's the joint? What's my joint? Suspect, witness don't come outside.
Suspect. Yeah. Suspect.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You might get your shit. Dear God, I want the riches. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, man.
Yeah.
The reason why I think, okay, so I get into a lot of debates, man, about Illmatic, and it was written, man. And I just keep trying to tell people, like, dude, Illmatic might be the greatest album of all time. You know what I'm saying? Just because of him being the age he was and how descriptive and how you can literally see everything he was saying. You can do that on Illmatic. I mean, It Was Written, but the difference is that Nas almost didn't have to do anything else after Illmatic. He could have been one of those guys that was just like, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to do shit else.
Yeah.
But for him to even attempt to match that Illmatic intensity just made me love the album. It was written even more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's almost unfair to say this about Illmatic. It's just like, yo, I mean, you don't even have to mention Illmatic. Illmatic is what Illmatic is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm with. That's why Illmatic doesn't have an age. It was written, continues to age, and it ages well. Does that make sense, fam?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, I love that. I love the way you broke that down. I was listening to, because you talk about Illmatic, and I think there's one track on it, Take It in Blood, right? That Take It in Blood, I think there's moments in that. First of all, it reminds me of Illmatic. Like, it's got the twinkling keys. It's got, like, you know, but now it's got gunfire like in there and all that. But I think there's one line in it. There's actually a few lines in it that are very Illmatic. But there's one line that stood out to me because it made me think, talking to Luka, this line is very, like, it's almost, this is the embryo from where some of the stuff I love in your work, where he says psychic evaluation, the foulest nation we living in, and then he ends it with a lifestyle on bad streets is patternized, and he does this whole little bit, and I'm like, whoa, like, you know, that blew my mind as a kid. Now I'm hearing you talk on stuff like Virus and, you know, all the stuff you've done, and it's like, damn, I'm hearing that few lines, but you've made it like just your kind of, it's in your DNA a little bit, if you know what I mean.
Yes, man. Taking in blood is like one of the, like, it's a slept on song too, but not as slept on as Nas Is Coming. But Taking in Blood is like absolutely insane, man. I need to sit down and it's a line on there I really can't think of. But what did he say, man? See, this is what I'm talking about right here, man. I can't remember him, man. But when the song comes on, I'll know it.
Let me try to jog your memory with some of my favorite bits, because I think Take It in Blood has some of the best Nas earworms. You know that earworm? There's where he says, "My actions are one with the seasons, a tech squeezing executioner, wintertime a rocker, mega popular, center of attraction." Like, what? How are you? What's the right? But the way
what do you think? What are you thinking of, bro?
Like, what are you thinking of? What are you thinking of? And like, yeah, man, I just think his third verse on there is one of my favorite Nas verses, just all time, man. Like, that is the patternized bit. That's the bit, you know, where he's, you know, mind elevation, dime sack lacing, you know, court pen pacing. Like, this is cinematic stuff. Like, he's talking court pen pacing, like that, you know, just those three words like give you a whole life. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I want to say something about the three verses, man. You just made me think, like, Nas is the only person whose third verses were just as good as the first two.
He's up there. He's up there. I think Ghost is really good. Ghost is really good at that.
Thanks. Yeah, Ghost another level too, man.
but I'm with you. I am with you, Nas, on this. Some of his best bits are in the end of the track. You know what? You know what I mean? So absolutely. And I think, I just think live. We talked about live and rap. The Mobb Deep thing. That was a thing as well. Like, that live and rap sounds like it should be on Hell on Earth, if you know what I mean. But again, Nas's last verse is just all killer, no filler. Like that verse as well. Curriculum of a mythologist, deep throats trying to swallow this anthropologist. Dynasties of great knowledges are preserved in my dome. And you're like, oh my! Again, I'm reading books.
You're a Nas fan.
I'm reading books whilst I'm like hearing him rhyme. Like, you think I've learned, like, you know, like when you download the Matrix and he downloads like Kung Fu. And it's like that. It's, I know Kung Fu in the Matrix. It feels like this. It's like you hear a Nas verse, you think, oh yeah, I know the ancient history of Egypt kind of thing. It's just mad. It's crazy. But yeah.
Man, I used to print off lyrics and put them in a binder and actually read them like books.
Whoa.
And I had like Nas's like own up to maybe Stillmatic or no. God's Son, man. I had all of that shit in a black binder when I was in middle school.
You were writing it out.
No. So I would go to the South Memphis library and print them off.
Right.
And like, and punch holes in them and put them in a black binder. And like, that used to keep me inside the house and out of trouble because I used to read people like him and Scarfaces and Slick Rick. And Most Def, fucking A Tribe Called Quest. I used to print out Project Pat's lyrics and like really like actually see, and you're reading the shit like a book. You know what I'm saying? Like Nas is like, the way he like describes things is like no other, man.
Yeah.
And same thing with Scarface though. Scarface can describe
100%.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. But that's what I'm talking about, man. When you find people who can do that, who can put you in a different mind state to, regular shit as well. Like, how many tales by 1996 have we heard from the street in hip hop? So many, but these guys are still doing it in a way where you're like, damn, like that's just the way you're saying that is like, what is it? Young early 80s throw rocks at the crazy lady. I'm now in your street with you in the 80s, throwing rocks at a crazy, and you think, oh shit, like, we had crazy old people in our villages, and you have that weird little idea of, I kind of know what you're talking about, but I've never been there. And I've always said this, man, Illmatic's one of the best of them, but a great hip hop album is like a passport, man. Like your shit is the same, bro. Like, we need to talk about when a black hand touches you, like, just, that is me going into a different world, man. I don't know, and I mean, let's talk on it. I know we got to talk about it. It was written. I think, we know that album is amazing, but if we go into your work though, bro, like for me, I hear you say, what was it I heard you say about, you made When the Black Hand Touches You as a blueprint for your son, kind of to show him that these are the world's ills. And I just thought, which albums kind of did that for you? Which albums did that for you? The way you thought, right, that showed me what the world's really like.
Okay, so we know the first two, Illmatic, it was written for sure. Scarface is The Diary,
right.
Untouchable, Ghetto Boys, till Resurrection joint.
Yeah.
Till Death Do Us Part, Ghetto Boys. Project Pat, Mr. Don't Play, Play Fly, The Game, Owe Me. That, man, it's a lot of them, man. Like, you know what I mean? So me and my pops, we're super, super, super close now. Love them to life. But like, there was a point in my life where, like, you know what I'm saying, we were lacking on communication. You know what I mean? He wasn't present. You know what I'm saying? And I had those albums kind of like teach me how to maneuver in the world. You know what I'm saying? So once I found out I was having a son, man, like, because I found out I was having a son during Chicken Wire. And I was just like, all right, yeah. So I was like, okay. So I really need to like really be mindful of how I'm coming on these songs and actually say something, even though that's what I do in my music anyway, but it became more urgent for me. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't be fucking around no more. So then came When the Black Hand Touches You.
Damn. That's deep, man. And I love the drive behind it, being a dad myself. Like, I don't know, you think, what can I leave you? I want you to be able to survive in this world without me, but what can I leave you to kind of when I'm not here? And I just think, man, there's a lot of mortality to that, man. There's a lot of all that. And I love, and again, that makes me think of your, especially as I'm listening to your work kind of during a pandemic. So it's like, I am thinking about life and death a lot more. I won't think about life and death this much until, and that's because I'm privileged and have circumstances around me where I don't need to. So you can't have this weird cushioning. And that's why I love hip hop, because it gives you the angle. It gives you that people don't have it all like this. Do you know what I mean? Like this, fragile as shit, man. Life is fragile.
Facts. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's I find the beauty in the fragility sometimes, again, comes into some of your work. And like, I need to ask you a few questions I've just been begging to ask you though. Like Ammo Pearl, just brilliant. But there is a vocal sample at the end of that track that has been stuck in my head since I heard it. Break that down for me, like where you found it, what it means, like what hit you about it, where you thought I need that on there.
Man, so that's. I just stumbled on that damn loop. I mean, on that sample, man. Just going like sometimes I just like let YouTube channels play. Right. You know what I'm saying? Let YouTube channels play, and I caught that. I was like, okay, hold on, there's something there.
Yeah, yeah.
At first, it didn't sound like that at all. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it had more of like just the instrumentation minus the voice, and then I started freestyling over it. And then I made a mistake and didn't chop something properly, so it played the part that you hear now.
Oh, right.
So I was like, okay, all right. I was like, yo, that's a little smooth right there.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool. So you know what I mean. Back in the day, you know what I mean, especially in the 90s, man. You know what I'm saying. People like Nas, Project Pack, Ghetto Boy, Scott, they used to have at least one track for the women. You know what I mean? So I was kind of just like using that formula. And I was just like, man, I'm from Memphis, man. So we get low down and dirty with the content. So I'm going to really take it there with it. Yeah. But in a poetic, not disrespectful way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
A woman can listen to it and not feel, you know what I mean, a way about it. Just because of how I think I'm like flowing the words and delivering it. You know what I mean? So it was just a track. Like I was just like, yo, it's a must to do something for the ladies. You know what I mean? So
I feel you. Yeah. I love that track. I think the Negro Pie is another one. Like, I don't know what when you're making stuff like that, especially again with the vocals up at the end and like, you know, just things that kind of take you into almost blaxploitation and like, I don't know, like it's just incredible. Like for you, what were you striving for when you were making something like Negro Pie?
Man, I'm a sucker for like the vocals being in the background of me rapping, and it's just because of my history. Like when my family would get together, like they would always like sing in harmony and do a lot of oohs and ahs and like singing like doing the background vocals of the Motown classics.
Yeah.
And in my head over there, I'm freestyling to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, I'm like, man, I wish I could like flip that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, you know, so on my next project, man, my uncle and my moms are gonna be doing background vocals for a lot of the joints. I'm trying to revisit some of that. You know what I'm saying? So
that's big.
Yeah. So I'm just once I hear it. Like I'm always looking for certain keys. I like melodic keys. I like it's kind of hard to like find something that's melodic, but it doesn't depress you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I like to think I have an ear for that, where like I can find something so melodic and what people may consider super dark, but it really doesn't sound like that if you take a second listen. It sounds triumph almost. You know what I mean? Succeeding, progression, and things of that nature. So songs like Negro Pie, man, that was one of those songs. When I heard it, I was like, all right, easy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, once I hear those vocals, it does something to me.
Yeah.
It's funny, man. Cities Aviv, he'll send me some beats, man. I be like, bro, send me some shit, man. Like, stop playing. And he's like, yeah, I know you want those fucking vocals. I'm like, yeah.
He knows.
Yeah. So,
he knows. But he does them well. Cities Aviv does do those vocals well as well. That's the thing. Oh, man. Just, absolutely. I think that's interesting when we talk about Cities Aviv, because we talk about, like, why look up Gods in the Mirror and Cities Aviv stuff as well. Like, first of all, why look up Gods in the Mirror? Probably one of the best album titles. Just straight away, I was like, what a title. Where was that coming from? Where was that coming from for you?
Man, you know what I'm saying? When I was coming up, man, like we would go to certain classes. It was called etymology class, but it was more than just learning etymology. You know what I mean? It was just people just higher learning almost, and we all used to greet each other as gods, and you know what I mean, and of course, like, you know what I'm saying. I went into the Wu-Tang shit, studied some of the 5% Nation shit, you know what I mean? Never actually joined it, but of course I read about it, you know what I'm saying? And I admired the movement. And I just took some of the teachings and applied them to my life, you know what I'm saying? So around the time I was making that album, after When the Black Hand Touches You, I felt like my best self. And I used to like, yo, this is God level to me. You know what I'm saying? So like, I was just like, all right, cool. I know where I want to go with my next album, because now I know why I'm rapping, which is to attack generational trauma. You know what I'm saying? That's one of my angles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, what's something that can make a person feel challenged, a little uneased? You know what I mean? And how can I like show that I'm releasing my demons on this album? Because that's what the entire album was about. It was like, hey, on Black Hand, even though it's a blueprint for my son, it's a blueprint to life. And I talk about how to get out of certain things. And I just felt like on my next project, I would be a hypocrite if I didn't get off some shit. So let me free shit, so I can practice what I'm preaching and teaching. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Why Look Up, God's in the Mirror came about because it was just like, yo, why are you looking up, praying to something you can't see? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yo, look in the mirror, yo. You create and destroy too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You can create and manifest your way out of certain situations, and just like you created your way in. You know what I'm saying? You're your own destruction. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's a challenge for people to take a look at themselves and really just be like, yo, I have the ability to create and destroy and make shit happen, man. Let's do it. Like, release this shit, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that came about, man.
Damn, that's deep. That's deep. But your music is, and for people who haven't heard Lukah's music, go out there and check it, because you're getting, for me, the lyricism is so on point. The flow, the beats are sick. And when I'm hearing stuff like The Way to Damascus, it's making me feel like on there, you're really unraveling layers of like, and you said a generational trauma, like generational stuff that's been, you know, embedded in these communities. And I think you even like say about like destruction is our addiction and stuff like that. And it's really powerful stuff. For you, how important is it to like keep helping reshape that narrative of your community and people who you grew up with and the future of that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, it's super important, man. It's number one on the list besides taking care of my family, because I have a son who's going to eventually, when I'm not around, have to experience some of these traumas, just because that's the nature of the culture, unfortunately. You know what I mean? So it's more urgent that I speak on it, because life is becoming short while seeing my kids' life become long. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I feel
you know what I'm saying? But so it's just like, I'm gonna keep that narrative because it's super important, and I want them to know, like, hey, you can overcome this. Some of this shit we don't have control over. But with me around and me teaching you certain shit, and like if I'm not here, you can go back to these albums, man, and you can just listen to how to maneuver through shit and learn the history of where it came from.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm doing on my next album. Like, this next album is like, letting them know where the trauma, it's for their future selves. So like, if they were some shit, children can't escape because it's passed down without even knowing. So I want my kids to, if I'm not around, you know what I mean? Like, they could go back and listen to this album that I'm making right now and literally find out their dad's entire history from when my mom and dad met each other. and they'll find out all the traumas and where it happened and why it might be happening to them. This is how you deal with this.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? So it's more of a personal album on this go round. So I'm always find ways to sneak that narrative or changing that narrative in my music. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's real important to me.
I love that, man. And I'm so glad that you're here doing that, because I think a lot of that stuff you said there about marrying early, you said like about how you love like vocals and like stuff that shouldn't sound kind of harrowing, but it is. And there's that conflict in your music of that. And man, like I hear like Agony in the Garden this morning and I was like, that is truly harrowing. But the way you do it is interesting, man. It's like, oh yeah, no, but we do get this other way of saying it. So yeah, man, I don't know if I'm putting it really well into words, but I big up your work, and people go out there and check it. So let me get this then straight, because we talked about Cities Aviv a little bit. Is there anything new come with Cities Aviv? And also, for people who don't know who Cities Aviv is, what do you think he's bringing to hip hop right now that no one else is doing?
Okay, so yeah, me and Cities Aviv, we currently rap about our joint album. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But we're artists in our own right. So like, once we have like ideas that's about us individually, you know what I mean, then group stuff kind of like, all right, hold on, I got to get this out. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
But I'm always be on his stuff. And he's always gonna be on my stuff. Like he has a lot of the production on the next one.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm back producing on it, and it's gonna be a crazy one. But as far as Cities, man, Cities is like everything the game truly wants to be, which is free. You know what I'm saying? Like, even the illest cats of all time, man, they weren't necessarily free, because during those times, man, those labels, man, they were controlling shit. You know what I'm saying? Cities is the complete opposite of being controlled, man.
Yeah.
And, like, there's still people being controlled to this day. You know what I'm saying? And Cities is a perfect, I mean, when I first met him, I was just like, yo, that man is a perfect representation of somebody who's free. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not just like free, like don't give a fuck or don't have any like rules and regulations about himself as a man or whatever, but just free to like, yo, I'm gonna do this because this is the way I want to fucking do it. Fuck what you want to think and fuck what you, you know what I mean? He's one of those guys, man. I admire him for it. So
yeah,
that's what he brings to the game besides his fucking genius.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That ethos.
He's a fucking genius, man. So more than meets the eye with that guy for sure, man. His mind is always going, bro. So like, that's the brother, man. He actually keeps our energy is just so insane, man. It's just like, we talk about it all the time. It was just like, he was like, he dropped Crashing Sound and I came back and I was just like, yo, how the fuck I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying, match that? And so I come back with Why Look Up, and then he felt the same way about Why Look Up. And so he comes with Man Plays the Horn, and it just keeps going and going and going. So it's just like, we always sparking something in each other. And it's never just like also like, yo, I'm trying to be better than you. It's just like, yo, you making me have to dig deeper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, that's the kind of relationship he and I have. Man. So
but as a recipient, as just a fan, it's beautiful because I'm getting just so much great stuff. Like, and steel sharpens steel, man. And it's great. It's absolutely great. But look, Luka, man, I'm so glad we got to talk Nas, we got to talk 90s with you. We got to talk about your music and you and Cities as well. I wish you everything but the best, like going forward. I want to see what this new album's got cooking. I'm ready for it. And yeah, man, just also like, you know, anytime the doors are open, if you ever want to jump back on, you know, we're here for it.
I enjoyed this, man. You know, like Yeah, this is the first time, like, actually, like, getting to talk about some, like, hip hop, my favorite hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So I really enjoyed this, man. It was a beautiful conversation. Thank you for having me. Thank you for accepting my little baby boy, man.
Oh, bro,
and, like,
beautiful.
Yeah, bro.
Big up.
Yeah, man.
Nah, I love that. I love that.
Salute.
Absolutely. I was going to just ask you then, like, what I ask everyone before they leave. Luka, it could be old, could be new, but what is the last great piece of music you heard? Could be old, could be new.
Stevie Wonder, The Songs in the Key of Life.
Man, you pulled that out. Like, yeah, there's no, yeah, you're right. That's probably is.
That album is a lot of Stevie Wonder and Thelonious Monk has been played throughout this album's process.
Right.
So,
interesting.
Thelonious Monk is one of my favorite musicians of all time. And
right.
me and Cities, we had this thing where it was like, yo, yeah, man, I see you, Miles. Yeah, I mean, you know, you're Miles Davis. That's what I be telling Cities. Yeah, I see, you know what I'm saying? And I'm Thelonious.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's how we be maneuvering sometimes. But yeah, man, so The Songs in the Key of Life, man, like, it's crazy because eventually, not too long ago, I found out that's my mom's favorite album.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was on the phone with her and I was like, Mom, one of the greatest albums of all time, and I forgot about it, was The Songs in the Key of Life. She said, you do know that's my favorite album of all time. I was like, and I just started revisiting my childhood and was just like, yo, this joint was really being played. That's why I'm attached to it. It was a theme song to my upbringing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, that album is phenomenal. I want to create a piece like that. So that's the road I'm on.
Bro, so, I have faith in you to do that. I do. I think there's something special brewing. I hope people are checking this out as well. And just, yeah, man, like Memphis as well. Wow, big up. Let's go. I mean, you know, it's just great to hear new voices. Great to hear new voices. And yeah, man, just keep smashing it, bro.